see me. My name is Shank. I'm a data analyst working in Seattle, Washington. I'm actually currently in Dallas, Texas, but I work in Seattle, Washington. And I do this live stream every Thursday and Friday where I help teach you how to become a data analyst and answer any questions that you might have about the world of analytics. So, all right, looks like we got a couple of people in the chat. Great to see you, Richard, Subham, Victoria, IH. Victoria, I just saw your comment on my other video. I really appreciated it. Yes, happy Thursday. Thank you so much, Paulas. Welcome, welcome. Let me go ahead and close this door over here. Hey, Rahul, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining in. Just as a heads up, guys, today I have a video releasing at, I think it said 2 a.m., or sorry, 2 p.m. Central, or sorry, 2 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern. So you'll check it out on my channel. You'll see a video releasing at 2 p.m. Central, where I basically go over what is a data analyst, what is the job all about, stuff like that. I realize that I get a lot of questions that I answer in that video. Doing well, Sia. How are you? Sharangan 112. Where's the pink drink? I don't have it today. You know what? Maybe I'll go get some. That actually might not be a bad idea, honestly. Well, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. So normally we have a couple of questions coming in here. Just as are you in your office? No, no, I'm in my childhood room. So you'll notice the Scholastic Book Fair, what do you call it? Poster above my bed. How to network efficiently. Okay, awesome. We got some questions going in. I'm trying to decide if I should go to Starbucks or not. Maybe I should. Hmm. Someone asked me about the pink drink. I probably shouldn't go. I probably should go get it, but then I wouldn't be able to answer questions on the drive to Starbucks. All right, so how to network efficiently. Okay, so networking is very much networking is an interesting concept, right? Because I don't, for sure, I've gotten jobs because of my network, but like I've never gone to like a networking event successfully. And I've gone to Alteryx conference and Tableau conference and attempted to network there, and it's never led to a job. So, excuse me. It is a bit of an odd concept because I can't say I've ever gotten like a job because of it. And I would say it's probably, at least the way I found more success, is by networking with people inside the company I'm working at, and usually people at the manager level and up, because that's when you start finding people who have like decision making power. And one of the guys that joined our team actually knew our director from their previous company. Um, and that actually, knowing a director is actually very helpful because directors actually have like decision making power. And so I would say the type of networking that I found to actually be effective is networking with like higher ups at your current company. And as they go and do other things, you'll have more job opportunities to work for them in other companies. And I think that is probably the type of networking I found to be particularly successful. How does a data analyst need project or sorry, does data analyst need projects on GitHub to find the first job? No, not really. I didn't have any projects for my first job. I just think that it's another thing you can do to increase your chances of getting your first job. And here's the thing, to be 100% honest, the project is more for after you've gotten the interview. So what happens is HR managers won't actually see like look at your GitHub or anything, and even if they did, they wouldn't understand what's going on over there. But what happens is after you're in the interview, you can show that project to a hiring manager, and I think that's what the real benefit of a project is. It gives you significantly more to talk about in the interview, and if you have a good project, then you could be easily in the top like 1% of comments without even, 1% of applicants without even really trying. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I don't speak Hindi. Only English, and actually my Spanish is significantly better than my Hindi. Welcome, everyone. So I have a question. Is there any difference when I do a live stream on my phone versus doing it on my computer? I noticed that the numbers seem to be a lot lower whenever I do it on my phone for some reason. Same for data scientist position. Yeah, I'd say about the same thing for a data scientist position. Number dough. So I don't know what you're saying, science meditation. All right, let's keep the questions coming in. Do data and Maharaj BK, do data analysts have to work on algorithms, MLR, RF neural networks like a data scientist? No. If you're working on that stuff, then like you're to be honest, I think the quality of video is better on a phone. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just curious because the numbers usually tend to be lower for some reason. I'm not sure why. Um, Okay, so do data analysts have to work on algorithms like a data scientist? So Maharaj VK, I'd say broadly speaking, no. If you're regularly working with algorithms like that, then I mean that really is data science work. And that's important. That distinction is important because data scientists get paid more than data analysts. So if you're in a job where they're making you do that kind of stuff regularly, then you really should ask for the data scientist title along with the pay that goes with it. That being said, oftentimes it is very useful for a data analyst to have some basic understanding of how that stuff works because it means that you'll be a lot more useful in like meetings that your team might have. And I see that we have 34 people in the room. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video, I guess down there. Sorry about that. I got a spam call and like it just froze the entire live stream. Yeah, but make sure you like the video. That way the YouTube algorithm knows that this is something worth watching. All right. Sandeep H. Prabhu, only advanced SQL or Excel SQL Power BI is enough to get an analyst job. Yeah, I don't see why not. At the end of the day, that's a lot of the analysts I know. That's those are the technical skills that they have. I actually go over some of these skills in the video coming out in a few hours. So I have a video coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern where I talk about what a data analyst actually is. So science meditation, I don't speak Hindi, so I have no idea what you're saying. Um, let's see. Any suggestions on lead code? So I highly suggest lead code before an interview, just because depending on who your interviewer is, you might be asked questions like lead code type questions, even though I think lead code type questions are not at all useful to ask data analysts. Um, because they like a data analyst won't be able to or sorry, let me rephrase that. Data professionals don't necessarily need the same skills that software engineers do. That being said, a lot of the times, like companies will exaggerate the data science skills that a, I mean, sorry, the what do you call it? The software engineers will often test for skills that aren't necessarily like needed for like data scientists. So I recommend doing some lead code, but not too much. When you say any tips on lead code, what do you really mean? I do suggest HackerRank is also really good. Okay, mode Sarfaraz Khan. Hi, Shashank. First, I appreciate your great work and guidance for us aspiring data scientists. Thank you. I'm guessing questions following that. I don't see it. Okay. Noah Christie. Hey, Shashank, you recommended BERT. BERT's really cool. Would be cool to see a video of you training a BERT model and show us that some of that strength. Yeah, for sure. I would love to do that too. The only so I definitely will do it. My analyst videos are a lot more popular than my like machine learning videos. But yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and do it. How's it when working? Okay, so Kanye West. How is it when working remotely as a data analyst? How are presentations handled? Just through Zoom. I would say that like a data analyst is one of those positions that like is very remote friendly. I personally really prefer being in the office, but my ability to do my job has not at all been hindered by the pandemic. So it really just happens through Zoom. You'll share your screen and present through Zoom. Rahul Aladi. What do universities expect from students before joining masters? I don't have any working or internship experience. I didn't publish any research papers. Can I expect to get into a good university? If your GPA is really good and if your GPA is solid and your testing scores are solid, then I don't see why you can't get into a university. Again, like I don't know, research is not that important for many different types of masters. There are like lots of masters that like in data science that are like practical, for example, and their whole thing is like they just want to get you like ready for a corporate data science position. Um, and so I would say that like for those, if you have good grades and you have a good test score, then that works out for you. Money Cousin J. Do I want to prepare aptitude questions for data analyst interview? Oh, I think you're asking if I want to prepare aptitude questions for data analyst interview. So I have a couple of technical questions on my YouTube channel. Check out the YouTube shorts. There are some in there. But I'm actually coming out with a video in the near future where I talk about data science interviews. So you'll be on the lookout for that. Konstantinos Volakakis. I am really new to the data analysis field. I currently pursue specialized professional certificate, and I'm also searching for entry-level jobs. Where can I get hands-on experience? How can I approach HR managers? So HR managers receive so many emails. It's it's crazy the number of emails that they receive. So most of them won't ever respond to you. But I would definitely recommend keep reaching out to them. And as far as actually looking for entry level jobs, I would post your certificates very prominently on your LinkedIn page and go to someone who already has a data science or data analyst job, see how they structured their resume, and try and mimic your resume to follow that structure. And then additionally, I personally use LinkedIn a ton. That's where I found the most success in looking for careers. Hey, Anita, congratulations, and I really hope that you have the best luck at your interview. Hey, so science meditation. You keep asking the same question in Hindi, and I have no idea what you're saying. I can't understand Hindi. If anyone is able to understand Hindi, I don't know understand why science meditation is not um, saying whatever he needs to say in English. If you do know, could you let me know what he's saying? I really have no idea what he's saying. Noah Christie, is a portfolio page the best way to quickly show off projects and get my first data job? I just found Kaggle, so training models, but I also have completed data camps courses. Wait, yeah, I would say a portfolio page and mentioning it on your resume are probably your best bets. And then, like I mentioned earlier, in my experience, what the portfolio really does is it gives you a lot to talk about during your interview. It gives you a lot more to talk about than the average person will have to talk about during their interview because the average person's not making a portfolio. So that's why I highly recommend portfolios because I think that once you get the interview, it gives you something to talk to your HR manager about. All right, let's see what the next question is. For your mentorship videos, be sure to link to other mentorship videos in the description. It'll help with the views. Oh, that's a really good point. Yes, I will definitely do that, Paulus. Starting with the next live stream. Must have skills for data analysts like tech stack, non-tech, machine skills. Yeah, so Giriraj S, I have a video coming out in what time is it? Okay, so it's 10:17. I have a video coming out in 3 hours on my channel that's going to go over all of that. So I don't want to spoil the information that's going to be in that video. Do you recommend any data analyst certification? So I would say the Google one is quite good, and they say it's the equivalent of a bachelor's degree, or at least they'll look at it as the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. Looking at the content there, I can see why they say that. Now, will other companies see it as the equivalent of a bachelor's degree? I'm not 100% sure. So take that with a grain of salt, but the content is excellent. The only thing I would say is that it's all written in R, when I personally would have preferred it to be in Python. What blogs/websites are you using to keep up to date? So there's a couple of them. A lot of companies have really great data science blogs. Airbnb, Stitch Fix, they have tremendous data science blogs. So I keep up with them over there. Uber Engineering also has a tremendous blog. And I would also recommend HackerRank. They have a lot of data science content over there. Do you have any recommendation about certificate other than Google Data certification at IBM? No, not really. The way I see it, certifications are like they're useful to like gain knowledge and not much beyond that. So I have a Google certification and like no one's ever asked me about it. So in my experience, I don't put too much stock in certifications. I think that they're just good to show people and say, hey, like I've like learned some of this content. Let me prove it to you. Oh, thank you so much, Thane Ganapati. Science meditation is saying he wants to talk to you on a call. Well, I don't do house calls, so I do apologize. I don't do private calls. I am thinking about doing it for the people on my Patreon. Um, but we will get to that in a bit. So not quite yet. Oh, thank you so much, Nikhil, for translating. All right, so let's see what the next question is. Okay, so Fabian, do you have some recommendation about? Oh, sorry, no, I already answered that one. Shivam Dobaria, is it a good sign to follow up after a job interview? Yes, 100%. I 100% think so. A single communication to every one of their communications is perfectly acceptable. Shyam Gurunath, welcome, welcome. Have you checked out the Python library at Pydantic? I have not, unfortunately. I've been completely swamped in the last week. So last week I had a friend's wedding, and or sorry, no, 2 weeks ago I had a friend's wedding, and this week I have another friend's wedding I have to go to. So the past couple of weeks have been quite busy. Anita, congratulations on the interview, and best of luck to you. Roman, oh, did I skip Roman's question? Okay. Hi, Shashank. I had two interviews with one place, and they emailed back about a background check. Excuse me. Whew. And submitting the salary for approval. They did all but offer me a job. Where should my hopes be? Yeah, yeah, they want to hire you. Background checks cost money to do, so companies won't just do them for no reason, and because you can't do a background check for free. And so I would say, congratulations, you are probably getting an offer very soon. Hey, Rahul. Okay, so waiting for the NFL Kaggle competition video. Okay, so yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. So the problem that happened was the Wi-Fi in my house, like so I'm at my parents' house, and the Wi-Fi upload speeds were so bad that when I like watched the video again, I could barely like I had no idea what was going on. So I'm not going to live stream. I'm gonna do it all over again, but I'm not gonna live stream it until I can get better Wi-Fi, which might be over this weekend, honestly. I'm gonna be at another house which I know has significantly better Wi-Fi, but I am going to redo that stream because the Wi-Fi connection was just so bad that like no one knew what was going on, and the stream cut out like unexpectedly at one point in time. So I'm not posting that video because the quality was so bad, but I will do it again and either post it or I will do another live stream. Of course, Konstantinos. Maharaj VK, looking forward to your data analyst interview episodes. Yeah, of course. So I'm working with someone to make those episodes. So they should be out. We'll see. Hopefully in a couple of weeks. Hopefully in a couple of weeks. Rahul Aladi, why don't you create a Discord server? So I do have a Discord server for my Patreons or for my patrons actually. So if you join my Patreon, I do have a Discord server. I'm working with a couple of people to improve it drastically. I got a couple of ideas, and now I'm like, you know what? Like let's like see what we can do with this Discord server. So it is available to my Patreon subscribers. And if you ask me questions over there, I answer them. Shyam Gurunath. Is there any online hackathons or where could I find them? I have Kaggle. Kaggle's probably the best source for these stuff. Not really hackathons, but definitely a tremendous place to practice your data science skills. Hello, Harsha. Welcome, welcome. I have not had my breakfast yet. Actually, I need to go get some coffee. Honestly. Let's see. Victoria Untalova. Which SQL database you recommend to work on for beginners? I don't think it really matters, but I personally really liked T-SQL. MySQL is another great one. I will say Postgres is, I personally have not seen it used all that much in a corporate environment. I've seen a lot of T-SQL and I've seen a lot of MySQL or like variants of MySQL. So I would recommend those two. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video. That tells the YouTube algorithm this is worth watching. Also, I'm really tired, so I'm gonna go get myself a coffee. Let's get more coffee. So let's see what's the next question. IBM is on Python. I've done it really amazing. Awesome. In that case, I haven't actually checked out the IBM certification. I might go check it out and see what that's all about because I very much am a Python guy versus an R guy. All right. What do you think about the first learning R, then transition onto Python? I think that's perfectly valid. Python and R are both tremendous languages. I just personally prefer Python, and I think that Python gives you some flexibility in case you don't want to do analytics because it's a general purpose software programming language. So you could more easily transition into a job as a software engineer. That's the only reason I recommend Python over R, but they're both tremendous languages, and I think you can be successful with either one. Krishna Hazarika. What is the possibility of landing a job in the States if you're from India without a degree? Very, very low. Unless you know someone, I would say it's very unlikely. US visa laws are not at all friendly to people without who don't have higher education or who aren't coming here for their higher education. So you could get a degree in India, get a degree in the US. Let's see, let's open this. And both would drastically increase your chances of getting a job in the US. Um, the only people I know who don't have degrees who have been able to work in the US are people who work at like trading companies. So they like speak a foreign language of some kind. So it's like usually it's Chinese, but Chinese or like Korean or something. But like they can also speak Hindi, and they're able to work for a small time trading company as a specialized worker. But I very, very, very rarely see anyone who is able to come to the US without a degree and get an analyst job. I've never seen that before. Noah Christie, is there a practical open source project that would help my understanding of machine learning? Is that worth the time to get integrated or personal projects worth more of my time? I think an open source project is probably the thing about a personal project is that it gives you a lot of like latitude as to what you can do. Sorry, I'm just mixing my coffee right now. The open source project gives you a lot of it really boxes you in, but it probably is more impressive on a resume because you've accomplished something concrete. At the end of the day, the biggest thing corporate America cares about is did you accomplish something concrete in your work? Hello, Shashank and everyone. Hey, what's up, freaking Rican? So freaking, I'm guessing you're Puerto Rican, based on your username, Cesar Santos. Have you thought about doing a transition working as a data engineer instead? No, I couldn't do a data engineer. I can't, I couldn't stand the work as a data engineer. Like what they do is incredibly impressive, but it's like, it's just not work I have any interest in. Because data engineer starts putting you into like core IT, which is really something I don't want to do. I don't want to be part of core IT. Um, I just don't have any interest in it, honestly. All right, got my instant coffee. Back to it. How I became an expert in Python. For me, it was just a lot of practice. And knowing what to study. I definitely I wouldn't call myself a Python expert because I don't know the language at like a deeper level. So I would say I'm a very I can apply like I can do stuff with Python. That's very much what I'm at. But I'm not an expert because I don't actually understand like the inner workings of the language in a way that like other people do. I am learning. So for example, like a lot of the code I've written is not particularly efficient. So I'm writing a piece of software right now for like some machine learning stuff at our company. And we had this really intelligent person who I'm guessing she's worked in a software development environment of some kind before, but she was like giving me a lot of advice on like how certain software practices are more efficient than others in code and how I need to be like practicing that stuff. So I would say I'm not an expert at all, but I do know how to like apply stuff. And it's part of the reason I'm doing this. I only have a couple of years of experience, but part of the reason I do this channel, I think it's useful, is because I don't have, or because I'm not like some like, level 10 analyst. I still understand what an entry level person goes through. So that's why I feel like my experience is quite useful over here. Uh, Paulo's picks. Okay. I edged out candidates for the first rounds of interviews for an accounting job because I knew beginning SQL, Python, and Tableau. Hey, that is amazing, Paulos. I am so happy to hear that, and that is absolutely amazing. Great job. Rahul Aladi. So zoned out. Yes, I had a chemistry degree. That is my degree. It just says chemistry. Let's see. Ooh, cool. We're getting some great questions. No, Christy, where's that coffee? Yes, I went ahead and got the coffee over here. All right, let's see what else we got. I am Bazu. What up, Shashank? Hey, what's up? I am Bazu. Okay, Harsha Samudrala. Hi, I am beginner. Do I need to know in-depth coding to become a data analyst? No. So I actually have a video on Python. It should be linked in this chat actually, but I have a video on Python, a video on SQL, and a video on Tableau. If you know those three skills, you're more than qualified to be a data analyst in my books. And it's significantly more than I do when I started my job. So go ahead and check those out on my YouTube channel. Look up my Python tutorial, my SQL tutorial, and my Tableau tutorial. Adrian Cittadini. Hi from Argentina. Hello, Adrian from Argentina. Which kind of projects mix SQL, Excel, and Python, or are they usually used individually? Interesting. I can see a combination of SQL and Python, or Excel and Python, but not SQL, Excel, and Python. And I would say doing a project in SQL is difficult because um, generally when you do personal projects, your data is going to be like stored in like CSVs and stuff like that. So I would say don't place too much of an importance on doing a SQL project, in my opinion, just because like I mean those are like hard to do really, unless you like go and make your own database and everything. But I would definitely say a Python Excel project. Go to Kaggle, you'll find tons of stuff over there. If possible, do a live stream with the colleague you mentioned in this video. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Why not? Let me. I'll go ask her if she's interested. All right. Let's see what we got here. What is the next question? Magmatic 91. Can a data analyst create its own consulting agency with no prior work experience? You want. You can. I wouldn't recommend it myself. Only because I would not be confident in handling clients if I had no prior experience, but I will say that at the end of the day, consulting is all about confidence. And, I mean, obviously, you do have to deliver for your clients, but getting the client, I found out a lot of it's just about confidence that most of them or many of them won't check out your credentials or anything. So, I would say it is possible. I don't recommend immediately jumping into consulting. I would recommend getting a little bit of experience at least, and then from there going and doing some consulting. But you can if that's the question. Chan, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you too for joining. If you have, and if people haven't already, make sure you like this video. It's a great way to show the YouTube algorithm that what we're doing here is very worthwhile. Also, if you at all feel like it, if you send me a super chat, then I answer your questions immediately. So whoever sends a super chat, they get their questions answered immediately. Otherwise, I generally go top to bottom. I check the bottom every once in a while just to see if I see anything particularly interesting. But yeah, let us see what is next. M. Nuhurija. Hi Shashank, I'm from Indonesia. I'm following your video and practice with that specialty Python project. Thank you very easy. Of course, yeah, of course, Em. Harmony William. Will it be good to do diploma and data analyst instead of master's Canada for a job? Instead of a master's? No. Nothing compares to an actual degree. As it is unfortunate, but I'll put it this way: all companies will look at a degree and accept it. Not all companies will look at a certificate and accept it. So that's not me saying go and get a degree. You should look at your individual situation. But that what that is me saying I would not consider. I would not, if I were you, I would recommend highly against thinking about certificates as the same as degrees because like most companies like don't really. Omar McDonald, what is the best way to analyze criminal justice data? Well, first of all, I go ahead and get some, but after that, that would be an interesting project. I'm not. It's a bit of a broad question, right? I would say visualizations are always the way you want to start off with. Do your exploratory data analysis. Get your measures of central tendency. Do your basic statistics. Find out what like variables are really interesting, go visualize the data, and then maybe go ahead and see if you can predict some stuff, maybe predict crime stuff. That would be interesting. I would say if you're doing criminal justice data, then it is really important that you control for things like race and gender. Well, I don't know if people care about controlling for gender, but definitely you need to control for things like race because at least in the U.S. we found that criminal like systems that like predict crimes and stuff like that are unfairly biased against African Americans and Hispanic people in the country, and so it is definitely something that I would consider if there is race data inside your data set. I would also say names might be something that are interesting because if you have names in there as well, then like you can tie a lot of names to race. So I would definitely say I would recommend um, being careful with what factors you decide to put into a machine learning algorithm. One of the important things that I don't talk about as much as I probably should is being ethical in our analyses and our model creation. There's a lot of power that's vested in us as analysts and data scientists. And so it is really important that we take our models seriously and consider the social impact of what we do when we create models. Chan, just landed data analyst role at Chewy and have been watching your videos to prepare for the job. Hey, congratulations. Are you working in Florida? So I went to Emory University and we send a lot of people over to Chewy. So over to Chewy. So I know a couple of people there. Are you working in the Florida office? Subham Das, can I be a data analyst if I'm from a physics background? I have a chemistry degree and I'm a data analyst, so 100% you can do it. I would actually say physics is a little bit better because at least there's some math there. Kaylee, hi, I just joined this. So does this start at 10 a.m. CST each time? Yes, every Thursday at 10 a.m. CST is when this is. And I also have a live stream on Fridays at 8 p.m. CST. That one's a little bit iffy. That one, so the unfortunate thing is that one is harder to do depending on the day because like sometimes I just like have stuff I need to do on Friday nights. Like tomorrow, I may not be able to do tomorrow's live stream, or I might do it a little bit earlier. Okay, next question. Noah Christie, I volunteer as an interviewed individual for you to roast. Yeah, no, I mean, we already have a plan for that video, me and the other individual. I'm just waiting for some content from that individual, and then like, we'll go ahead and get started. So, can you make a video on? So Shivam Dabaria, can you make a video on SQL just like you did for Data Cleaning Challenge in Pandas a week back? Oh, ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't see why not. I can load it up into SQL database and like figure out how to. Oh, that would be interesting. SQL is definitely not the first tool I would use for that, but I don't see why not. Yeah, yeah. Rahul Aladi, do you think that data analyst work could be automated? I think large aspects of it could be, but I also think that. So here's the thing: data analyst work at the end of the day is one of those things that, like, at least in the near future, won't be replaced by machines. It's kind of like okay, so it's much easier to communicate with like software engineering. So like there is software today that can actually like write code automatically. But at the end of the day, the reason software engineers are still hired and the reason they still exist is because not because of the code that they write, but because of the logic they put together, and then they write the code to like actually execute on that logic. And in that way, I think, and that's something that that machines can't do very well yet. At least that's not something most companies can deploy. Like most companies are just not capable of deploying that kind of like that level of complexity of like um algorithm in their work. And so I would say certain aspects of the data analyst job can be automated, but I'm skeptical as to like what I teach on this channel. If you like take those skills and you apply them appropriately, if that can be automated. And I would also say you can learn faster than someone can program a machine to take your job. So you just have to upskill yourself regularly and you'll be fine. All right, next question. Shubham Vishwakarma. Is MySQL necessary as compared to SQL Server? So here's my opinion on this stuff. The thing is, you don't actually know what SQL engine. The question he's basically asking is like, what SQL should I learn? So SQL is non-standard, meaning that like different SQL engines have different syntax depending on like which one you go to or which company you go to and what they use. In my own company, we use different like SQL servers. I have to know the syntax for like the different servers. Um, so I would say it doesn't really matter because you won't really know what your company uses prior to actually working over there. So, and I think MySQL or SQL Server are both great to practice on because they're so widely used. So I wouldn't worry too much about which one to worry about or which one to learn, and just know enough basic SQL. And then in an interview, if something doesn't work, you can say, "Oh, this works in my like SQL environment." So I would say it doesn't really matter. CF Garcia, great to see you, CF. Hi, Shashank. I'm a little bit confused on when a data analyst needs SQL or Python to manipulate data. Can you give us an example where both tools are needed? Okay. So here's a great example. I have a task right now, right? Like at my current job. So for anyone that doesn't know where I work in Nordstrom in their analytics department. And I have a task where I need to, what's the best way to put this? I need to look at it. I need to look. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I need to look at appointment data. Like like people like schedule appointments to actually like work at like to actually like not work to like get like stuff done at Nordstrom because we work on the higher end, so we do like all these like alterations and stuff like that. So I need SQL in order to pull data from the SQL database. I in order to see the data, I need SQL and I perform a lot of transformations on that data in SQL. Now, the reason I have to know how to perform transformations on that data in SQL, so for example, the data is in a certain format, but I want it in a different format. So, for example, I might want to see the number of appointments a single customer has over the course of their lifetime on a single line, and that requires me to group and pivot my data. And I want to do that in SQL because we're talking about something that's like 100 million rows of data. And so it mostly makes sense. It makes a lot more sense for me to offload that computation stuff onto a SQL server rather than do it on my computer. After I've done all those transformations, I can, and I've shrunk down the data, I can pull it into my Python environment, and then I can start modeling what's going on. So, for example, we can't necessarily tie all of our appointment data to uh, sorry, the appointment data is not directly tied to revenue data, like how much the shopper spent at any given time. And so by doing that, what I can do is I can start saying, okay, do certain appointments have create a higher proclivity for a customer to actually spend more money on goods at our store? And that modeling will all be done in Python. You can't do that modeling in SQL, as far as I'm aware, because that's where I'm going to start doing some like statistics and machine learning and like all these things to, like test out a correlation in the data. So CF Garcia, that's an example of me pulling data from SQL and modeling it in Python. That would be the normal workflow that I would follow. Oh wow, we have a lot of questions here. So just as a heads up, I will be here for about another 10 to 15 minutes. So, Victoria Untalova, Shashank, do you recommend to go in a big company for the first job or small ones? I think they both have their advantages and disadvantages. A big company will have a process for you to onboard as an individual, usually, and you will get a lot more support, I would say. A small company, the best part about it is that you have a lot of freedom as to what you can do, and you get a very large breadth of experience that you can gain. So I would say if you are a particularly strong go-getter, like you are always looking for your own work and everything, a small company actually probably will work out better for you. And a big company will be better if you're the type of person that like needs a little bit of like hand holding at the beginning. Not a bad thing at all, but if you need like some assistance at the beginning, um, then I would say that's when a big company would be particularly useful. Adrian Danny, do you have any video on data visualization and storytelling or something to show something about that? Look at my first video. I have a Tableau course where I go over some of those concepts. Chan, yes, sir. UF grad and big Gator fan will be working remote until Q1 2022. Nice. Well, congratulations, Chan, on getting the job. MX or MJX1. Hi, Shashank. I love your channel. I was wondering if you can recommend a service that is similar to GitHub, where you can host data with versioning, ideally built with collaboration in mind. So, any reason you don't want to use GitHub? GitLab is their most obvious competitor. Bitbucket maybe. Um, but any reason you don't want to use GitHub? Evan Home, hi, big fan of your data analytics challenges. What area of data analytics would you recommend to someone who has an affinity for data and design data viz? What about user research? Um, let's see. So data visualization is it's a skill, so right? So you can take that and apply it just about anywhere. And that's what I would and that's what I would recommend doing. Or sorry, that's where I think you would probably find the most interest. Let's see. Design. Is there an industry that you're particularly interested in? Omar McDonald, thank you. I work as a probation officer and I want to use data to reduce recidivism rates. Hey, well, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's what I say. I think that there is a lot of opportunity over there. Just be careful of how the data is used because um, yeah, like I said, we need to be ethical stewards of our models. And I think a lot of very intelligent people don't consider the social consequences of their actions sometimes, which, can we have a much bigger impact on society than we think we do. So I think you're doing some great work over there, and just something to be aware of. Oh, whoops, almost dropped the phone. Bouchon, in US, is there a general consensus about Tableau versus Power BI? Not really. I'd say there's probably like 50-50 of companies that use both. Um, and the way I see it, once you know one, the other one's fairly easy to understand. And what I do is so I don't use Power BI on a regular basis. I use Tableau. But if I was in a job and they were interviewing me for Power BI, and they had a technical interview, I'd be like, oh, I know Tableau really well. I can pick up Power BI. It's not that difficult. And I can figure it out. And give me a week and I'll figure it out. Because you just have to map the functionality between each other. Himanshu Bahukandi, where do you work? Nordstrom in Seattle. Rahul Aladi, I don't know why, but I feel confident after watching your mentor videos. Hey, well, so that's why I do this. So there's this great guy I follow, Joseph Carlson, right? And he does a show basically on YouTube where I guess every week or twice every week he goes over his portfolio, and what he does is he deposits money into his portfolio and he has that money listed as the thumbnail in the video. Now his basic investment strategy, at least for his dividend portfolio, is buy and hold. So if you think it's buy and hold, right, you would think that there's you just have to go over the portfolio once every couple of months, and you're not changing all the time. Why do you need a video all the time? But the reason I watch his videos consistently is because there's motivation the motivation goes away every week to save up money and invest money. But because he does this video every single week, I watch it and I'm again motivated. I'm like, yes, I'm building my financial future by depositing money into my investment account. So I'm trying to do something similar with these live streams where by doing these every week, I'm encouraging everyone to stay on the grind and stay on the track of consistently working on your data analyst skills and building up your skills. So um, to me, that's the value of doing these weekly. So, P.S. Yeah, my Kaggle was gone. So, yes, what happened was I was having so many connection issues that I couldn't post the video afterwards. I watched the video and the quality was so bad that I chose not to post it. I'm going to do that video again, but I need to make sure I have good connection before I do. So, all right, let me go back to answering some questions in order. I know a lot of people asked a bunch of questions. Where is the next question? I got lost. There's so many questions here. I love it. Okay, so Balaji Koma, how to become a data analyst in the banking industry. So I don't know how to become an analyst in any specific industry. The skills I would Yeah, I'm not sure how to become a analyst in any specific industry. I have no experience in the banking industry, so I would say, I would always say, like, learn Python, SQL, Tableau, or some BI tool, and that's really the only advice I can give. Neon 93N05, would you tell some job titles in the field of financial data analysis? Huh. Yeah, finance is difficult for me because I've never really worked in it, and I know finance and financial analysts are also, like, they're, like, a completely different breed, and they have, like, there's so many titles in, like, the financial world that I'm not familiar with, so I do apologize. I don't think I can answer that question well. Roman IAC, do you ever dabble in tea? I love those loose leaf tea. I'm a huge boba tea guy, but not like loose leaf tea. I should though. So I'm actually moving into a new apartment in Seattle next month. I'm super excited. I'm really excited to show you guys that apartment. I wish I could move sooner, but Diwali is coming up. For anyone that's not aware, Diwali is like the Hindu festival of lights. It's like Hindu Christmas basically, and so I'm going to spend that with my family. That is, I think it's like the first week of November or something, or like the last week of October. So after that's over, then I'm gonna go to Seattle. So I when I move there, I probably will like start like buying more stuff and dabbling in tea. I haven't bought much stuff while I'm like living at my parents' house because I'm like I would just have to like take it all with me wherever I went. So that's why I just don't buy that much here. So Daria Shatilo, can you describe your daily routine? Love your videos. I would love to do one of those vlog videos and like show you guys how like monumentally lazy I am actually. It's really funny. So, like, people talk about like being very consistent about your routine and everything, but like what I found is I think that like everyone has different like natural tendencies. Like you have hormones and stuff in your body, and like they're just going to encourage you to like act a certain way. It's why introverts and extroverts exist, for example. And some people, I'm very impressed with these people. They can do work every single day consistently, and I am like, my God, I'm so jealous of you. And I used to be jealous of people like that. I still am to an extent. But then I found out that I have a method of improvement that seems to work similarly well. Where what I do is I think of an idea and I just spend hours and hours and hours executing on that idea nonstop for like 1 or 2 days. And I find that it's not it, as long as I do that once every like 2 weeks or so, I end up in a similar position as the people who work an hour a day every day. If I work 8 hours in just one day, get everything done in one day. Um, and it seems to work better for my personality type, like just these extreme bursts of speed. Um, Although I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent, but I find as long as I do it within a 2 week period, the results seem to show for themselves. So, hey, Kieran, welcome, welcome. You have holidays for Diwali? No, 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 I don't have holidays for Diwali, but we're all working from home right now, right? So I'm gonna be at home during Diwali. Do you know Hindi? Unfortunately, I don't. The thing is, my girlfriend, so she speaks fluent Hindi, and she has mentioned before that she would like me to learn Hindi. It's an interesting thing to me because, like, it's really funny because, like, so she was born in India, but she's been like raised here her entire life. So she's like, more or less just like pure American. Um, and when I go to her parents' house, right, I've never heard her speak Hindi to her parents. Like, I know she speaks Hindi. Like, I like, I've heard it before, but it's really funny how little in the like years I've known her, I've like how many words I've heard her actually say in Hindi. But she's interested in me learning Hindi. I mean, and so because of that, I would like to learn Hindi actually. Um, that and just it's useful. Um, but yeah, 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 yeah. I know I would like to learn Hindi. Long story short. All right, I just have a couple more minutes, and I'm gonna head out. Any thoughts on Qlikview? It's a good software. I haven't seen it used all that much. Angela Chavez. I just completed the Google Data Analytics certificate. I learned a lot, but I'm curious how credible it is in the real world. What's your opinion out of it? So I think it's a great certification. I think you've learned a lot through it. The only thing is it teaches R instead of Python, which I personally prefer Python. But otherwise, I would recommend. I think it's great. Okay, Smoky Drunk. Hi, thank you for your content. Learned a lot. What can you recommend to people from one of the what we'll call developing countries where $300 a month is a standard salary? $300 a month is standard salary. My God, how to enter the global market slash relocate? Jesus Christ, dude! $300. Wait, where are you from? Where $300 a month is a standard salary? That's like Wow. Like in the US, people get paid that on a daily basis, but I mean, obviously, cost of living is probably lower. I would say, like, dude, if that's the cost, like, if the cost of living is so low that that's the standard salary per month, then like Fiverr and Upwork, like, if your English is good, then Fiverr and Upwork have a lot of opportunity for you because you could work one day and earn that kind of like money if you find the right client on those platforms. I would highly recommend getting onto Upwork and then searching for a solid client who's willing to pay you an American rate for your work. So, like six figures. Um, and I would highly recommend looking for work over there because I mean, to be blunt, I have been able to earn twice, like $600 in like with one day's worth of work on like Upwork. It was several hours worth of work, but like the point I'm making is that there's significant opportunity available to you on Upwork that you could, I mean, make double the monthly salary in a day. If you, I think the trick is speaking fluent English, because I've worked with a lot of people offshore, so like people like India and the Philippines and stuff like that, and the quality of English I've found is very, very variable. And it's really important that your clients are very comfortable with speaking with you. And so I would highly recommend getting onto Upwork. I don't recommend Fiverr as much. I've seen Fiverr and I'm like, the rates over there seem low. Like, and it seems like a competition to the bottom because I've seen on Fiverr people are willing to build machine learning models for like $10, and I'm like, like just the amount of time I would spend like meeting with a client to understand what they even need is worth more than $10. And so that's where I highly recommend Upwork. I found Upwork is a lot more respectful for like, wages. So, but I am curious as to what is your what country you're from? Are you H-1B? So that's interesting. So I'm not. I'm an American citizen. I would have assumed that with my accent, it's fairly obvious I can't be an H-1B because I have an American accent. But yeah, no, I'm a U.S. citizen. That's why I can freelance. Can you freelance as an H-1B? It's a gray area, is my understanding. My what I always thought is that you could say you're from India, for example, right? You could do your regular job as an H-1B and then have all of your Upwork money sent to an Indian bank account. Um, I don't know if that is a way to get around the 40 hours of work that your H-1B restricts you to. So it's just an idea that I had that no one has either confirmed or denied is possible. Um, or you could get paid cash for all your work, honestly. That's another way to do it. Oh, Paula's picks. Yes, that is a great piece of advice. 100%. Magmatic 91. What kind of tasks did you do on Upwork? So I'll answer this question and one more question. What kind of tasks did you do for Upwork? So I did the whole gamut of tasks. It's part of the reason I'm on Upwork is because Upwork allows me to do a very large degree of work. So I've like built geospatial, or I've like done geospatial analyses for factories. I've built websites for companies. I've ported data and set up SQL servers for clients. And so Upwork has allowed me to do all kinds of different work. And it's one of the reasons I like it. It allows me to do work that I wouldn't get to do at my normal job, just because there's 10 other people to do all that other stuff. Thank you so much, Geos109. Okay, last question. It still blows my mind that some parts of the world people are paid $300 a year. I mean, a month. Darm Harley, by the way, your content is good and channel's gonna blow up. Hey, well, thank you so much. I really, really am hoping that we get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's a lofty goal, but I think with a couple of viral videos, there's no reason we can't hit it. Magmatic 91. Why some companies ask for data analysts with skills normally mastered by data scientists? It's because a lot of client, sorry, not clients, a lot of job recs are written by HR managers who don't necessarily know the field. And that's not me throwing shade at them. They have to search for jobs across an entire spectrum of things. And they can't know how every single job works. So I would say if the job says data analyst and you have like some of the skills necessary, then just go ahead and apply for it. A lot of the times, companies will ask for way more skills than they're actually expecting someone to know. If you know a majority of these skills necessary for something, then I think you're good to go. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you so much, Cadence. Yeah, let's share this channel with your friends. Let's see if we can get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Geo's 109. Salaries in Latin America should be contrasted against their currency compared to the USD, but yeah, wages tend to be lower compared to the US. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I would say Latin America is an interesting thing because, like, so I've gone to Panama and Mexico in the recent past, and I speak some Spanish. I think, oh, interesting. Yeah, and I speak some Spanish. Um, English in Latin America is an interesting concept. Like the quality of English is kind of all over. It's like India. India is the exact same thing. In India, like the quality of English in India is just kind of all over the place. Where like you'll find some people who speak very good English. You know exactly what they're saying all the time. No problems at all. Grammar is excellent and everything. And then you'll find some people where like it is really really difficult to understand them. And I was literally on a project once where I was working with an overseas team, and we had to have one of the younger analysts actually translate someone's English like for me. That way I can understand it. And like, understand like, I grew up in an Indian household. So like, I'm like, I've been exposed to Indian English for my entire life. But um, I found Latin America to be quite similar too, where I am genuinely surprised at how like different the quality of English amongst different people can be. Um, One place in the world that I have noticed the English is excellent is Eastern Europe. So Eastern Europeans that know English, like Ukrainians, Romanians. I haven't met many Russians, but a couple of Russians that I met. Um, I am very impressed at how good English is in Eastern Europe. Like I've never had an issue understanding someone who spoke English in Eastern Europe. I went to Romania 2 years or last year, and I was genuinely surprised at how easily I could. I was able to understand everyone who spoke English over there. Like it just blew my mind. And I don't know, like does anyone know like in Eastern Europe do like universities and stuff like sponsor English programs, or do they have like a lot of Americans teaching English over there? All right, so Cadence Spironic. Yes, so if you're interested in that, look up my Instagram or Twitter. It is KALAMARI 95, and send me a message on one of those two. Or if you have my LinkedIn, feel free to send me a link over there. So um, yeah, Kaylee, very true about Eastern Europeans English. I noticed that Croatia, they speak American English so well. Yeah, 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 yeah. And maybe that's it. It's like I'm looking for like someone who speaks like American English, obviously like being an American, but like it is genuinely something I thought was like very, very interesting. It's like just how well English is spoken in like Eastern Europe by people who do speak it. But yes, Kaden, send me a message on one of those two platforms. My Twitter and my Instagram, same thing. And I'll be on the lookout for it, and then we can discuss something a little bit later. But thank you guys so much for attending my live stream, and I hope you guys have a great day. Also, I have a video premiering at 2 p.m. Eastern today. So 2 p.m. Eastern, um, I have a video that will summarize a lot of what I talk about. So thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you have a great day.